Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. We are live with another happy hour. How's it going? Happy Tuesday. Got some feedback happening on the other screen already. Nice to see everybody. We're going to do another week of happy hour before I hop on with Telex. What's good? What's everybody been sipping on tonight? Anything new this week? See some folks already in the chat, which is awesome. I'll catch up with you all shortly. So starting things off tonight with Heaven's Door Double Barrel. I did a little review of this over this past weekend. This is Bob Dylan's whiskey, I guess. It was his birthday on Tuesday or Sunday. I'm a big fan, so I decided to crack it open for a review that day. Pretty good stuff. I'm enjoying it so far. It's a little bit of that Tennessee whiskey, but it's got, it's subtle. That Lincoln County flavor is a little subtle, which is good. But yeah, tonight I figure I'm going to crack open this. This is the Fusion from Amrut. I'm not sure if anybody in the chat's had anything from Amrut before. This bottle's been out for about a decade, I think. But it's basically a fusion of Indian and Scottish barleys. And so this is going to get that interesting different flavors, perhaps. That terroir thing that some folks talk about, that you can actually taste the local flavor of things. We'll see if that actually holds up with the Amrut. And then we'll check in on that Glen Scotia from last week. I'll tell you a little bit about what I've done to see if we can make that palatable. But good to see everybody. Let's get started. Ben Demon Hunter's in the house. What's up, Ben? Mr. French. Wow. Here early with some Amrut cast strength in hand. As I read, you're opening the Fusion type shoes. Yeah, definitely. Cool. I've never had the cast strength. I've only had the regular release from Amrut, the regular single malt. Solid stuff. We'd love to hear about the cast strength if you want to share some about that. Anything cast strength is usually something I'm interested in. Mark's in the house saying, hey, folks. Hey, Mark, how are you? Good to see you. French said Eric has a new screensaver for happy hour. I threw something together really quick. I just had that kind of picture before of the Whiskey Exchange in London, and I thought I should probably do something that makes a little bit more sense. So I don't know. We'll stick with this one for a little while. Maybe I'll make something a little fancier at some point, but not too fancy, you know. Jimmy T's in the house saying, hey, guys, what's up, Jimmy? Happy Tuesday to you. What you sipping on? Thanks for swinging by. Donner Pass. Daniel, what's up? Happy Tuesday, you guys. How are you doing? Curious if either of you have had the any of this Heaven's Door stuff. I cracked this over the weekend, and pretty enjoyable. It's a double barrel, so they kind of just do the regular aging in the new charred oak, and then they throw it in another new charred oak barrel to really kind of gives it kind of a creamy, heavy flavor. Definitely tasty. Price isn't too bad, like 45, 50 range. Some places I've heard it's more, so be wary of that. But it is 50% ABV, which is cool, and pretty cool artwork on it too. Apparently, like as I kind of mentioned in the review video I did, Bob Dylan does a lot of like art with iron. It's like welding and stuff, and so this is like he designed all these bottles, I guess. So it's pretty cool. So sipping on that for a little bit. Enjoyable so far. Andrew Page coming in hot with the Springbank 15, one of my favorites, man. That's not a bottle easy to come by anymore, and they've raised the price on it so much. I hope you've had that for a while. I'm seeing that for like $150 now. When just a couple, maybe 6-8 months ago, you could get that for less than, not less than 100, but right around 100. Great stuff. Heavy on the sherry. Would love to hear what you think about that one. Is this your first bottle? Matt D's in the house. Amrut Fusion is next on my buy list. Haven't had it yet. Well, right on. I've never had it either. So I've grabbed a bottle just recently. I'm going to crack it as we kind of get into happy hour. So we'll see what's up with that. Daniel picked up some, not had Heaven's Door, but Altmore 12 and 18 this week. Already opened the 12. Looking forward to the 18 later tonight. Nice. You got a good night set up. The Altmore 12 I like quite a bit. That one kind of flies under the radar. Really kind of sweet, grassy, a little bit floral, very like barley forward. Really enjoy that one. I think I still have a bottle of that open, actually. I haven't got around to doing like a actual review of it yet, but that's a tasty pour, man. Enjoy that. Good stuff. So glad to see everybody here. This is going to be another fun night. So tonight, as I mentioned, I'm going to crack open this Amrut Fusion and revisit our crazy cloudy Glen Scotia bottle from the hand-filled distillery bottle that definitely did not do it for me last week when I cracked it open on the live stream. So we'll check in on this. I'll tell you a bit about what I've done to try to mitigate some of that horrible flavor I was getting out of it. We'll see what happens with that. And then, yeah, as always, I'm going to join Telex shortly after 9 o'clock tonight. We're going to be talking Highland Park. So he's going to be reviewing the new Highland Park Valfather, which is supposed to be I guess the most heavily peated Highland Park to date. Haven't had it. I've actually not had any of that Valkyrie, Valknut, or Valfather. So really going to be interested in hearing what he's got to say. I'm going to crack open the Highland Park 16 Twisted Tattoo. So I'll be checking that one out. See what's going on with that. So it should be a fun chat tonight on chat in Highland Park, especially if you're a fan of that. Do check it out. Daniel said that somehow looks cloudier. Yeah, I don't know. We'll get into that at the bottom of the hour, man. I'm gonna wait a little bit on that before we dive in, because that's yeah. I have not drank any of that since last week. So we'll see what's happened with the week of oxidization. Anyways, we finished up this double barrel. Really solid pour. Heavy on the bourbon notes for sure. Pretty good stuff. You know, these celebrity whiskeys are always kind of hit and miss. I mean, you see it a lot with like tequila, you know. And like George Clooney's got tequila, a bunch of other dudes got tequilas. Starting to see maybe a little bit with whiskey, but yeah, this Bob Dylan thing it's not bad. Solid pour for sure. Dram dude's in the house. What's up, man? Don Holland, love me some Glen Scotia Victoriana 54.2. Oh yeah, that's a real good bottle. I have a bottle of that open right now myself. Is that the cask strength? Oh, actually, I'm not sure if the one I have is 54.2, but don't they? I think they also do a cask strength. I'd have to go check. Yeah, I like everything Glen Scotia does, which is why this Glen Scotia single cask I got from the distillery, it was so exciting. And then, man, it just had this note of like this kind of pasty chewed vanilla or chewed like vitamin thing. It's just brutal. So we'll dig into it in a little bit, see if anything's happened with this. Yeah, for sure. Malt is in the house. What's up, Swami? How are you, man? Happy Tuesday, Booze Day. All right, y'all. Why waste any time? I'm going to crack open this Amrut Fusion. Actually, you know what? Yeah, let's do the Fusion first. So I've never had this. The only Amrut I've ever had is the, man, look at this booklet. Jesus. It's like, man, they give you a huge book. Let's see what's in it. The only one of these I've had is their like a regular single malt. Oh, yeah, it's just like a big advertisement for all their bottles. A whole bunch of stuff in here. Anyways, so this Fusion, this is what the bottle looks like. What do they got to say? 50% ABV. East meets West in subtle fusion of Indian and Scottish barley. So yeah, we're gonna see if that. I don't know if you've all heard of like terroir, but it's some idea that I don't know if it's just a marketing thing or not. People say that like, you know, when you see these local barley whiskeys, stuff like that, people say that like you can really taste the difference in barley, and it kind of brings the flavor of the location into the whiskey. Strong opinions on it. I'm not really sure what I think yet. I'm honestly, maybe I'll be able to tell a little bit with this if I can tell the difference. I don't know the difference between Indian and Scottish barley, but who knows? Yeah, all right. So it comes in one of these like metal tins. Talks a bit about the distillery. So the interesting thing about Amrut is they lose like I think 5 to 6% due to the elevation of their distillery. They lose like 6 to 7% of the whiskey out of their, or 5 to 6% of the whiskey out of their barrels every year because of evaporation. So kind of an interesting thing about Amrut. Yeah, it's like 3,000 feet above sea level. It says here, non-chill natural color. It says it here on the tin. That's awesome. Right on. All right. So apparently the barley is, they get peated barley from Scotland, and the rest of it comes from the feet of the Himalayas. All right. Bunch of advertising stuff on that. A little bit about the bottle. I don't know what this is all about. We don't need that. All right. So Amrut Fusion. Oh, look, it's got the Jim Murray sticker on it too. 97 points from his Whiskey Bible. It's got to be good then, right? 1948. All right. Let's crack it. Well, I get this in the glass. Any of y'all had the Amrut Fusion before, or any of these Amrut bottles before? Be curious to hear what you think. I've heard good things about this one. This is the one that I always hear things about. I know, I think, was it Mr. French earlier was in here saying he had the cast strength open. Would love to hear about that if you're still watching. Oh, wow, nice. Fruity. All right. Clean glass for this, right? You got to do it all cheap. All right. We'll let that sit for a minute. Catch up with the chat, see what's going on. Amrut Fusion. All right. I think the page said the cast strength Victoriana. Cast strength is replacing Victoriana. Generally the same, but slightly different ABV. Oh, no kidding. I didn't know about that. Don Holland says $100 Canadian. That's a good price. Swami says everybody loves it, including me. Right on. Still called Victoriana cast strength. Oh, okay. Haven't tried any, but I've heard good things, good and bad about them in general. Oh, Daniel, you're talking about Amrut. Yeah. So it's non-chill natural, so that's good. That's what the color looks like. No age statement on this. So I'm not really sure how long this has been. I can't imagine it's very old. Oh, wow. It smells rich, sweet. 50% ABV, Jimmy. So maybe they're compensating for the youth with throwing some more ABV on it to try to get more flavor in. I don't know. I can't imagine this is more than like a 5-year-old whiskey. Almonds. There's like a nutty thing going on in this. Little vanilla. Yeah, this is interesting. Whew. Fruity. I'm not sure, like, it's like apple pear kind of thing. I don't think there's any sherry in this. I'm not sure, but man, that color is making me think there might be sherry cask. All right. Nose is nice. It's not very sharp. It smells rich. It smells older than it probably is, which is always a good sign. You're starting to get, there's some dried fruit notes in it too, which means, which I always notice with NAS is like you start picking up the dried fruit notes. It does mean that it's probably been sitting in the cask for a little while at least, because you know that's those notes come from the oxidizing sherry cask in a lot of ways. Getting a little bit of it in here. Almond spice. Yeah. Solid on the nose. Give it a taste. Cheers. Oh, there's a lot going on in here. There's that sharpness, though. Ooh, it's hot. That's a hot 50%. It's really full mouth flavor, though, oily. Kind of right when it hits, it's sweet and soft, and then just explodes, man. It's dried fruit, dark fruit. This nuttiness, it's like almond paste. What is that? Marzipan or whatever. There's vanilla. There's some sweet caramel, chocolate. Finish comes in hot, man. As this develops, instead of kind of rounding out, it just keeps going. So right at the end, before you get into the finish, it's kind of hot. I mean, this is the neck pour, so you know. Finish is hanging on pretty nice though. Warming, kind of baking spice, little cinnamon thing going on. There's a lot happening here. This is one of these whiskeys going to take a little while to get into. That's why I generally don't like trying to review things too proper before I've spent like, 3 or 4 glasses of it at least. But this is definitely an upgrade from the standard Amrut single malt, which I think is 46%. So they do that proper. But There's a lot more happening in this. Rich. Yeah, about medium on the finish, actually, I'd say. Medium finish on this. So you can tell it's youthful, but it's working. Whatever they got going on in this is working. This is a good pour. All right. Do one more taste. Oh, yeah, this is good. Kind of reminds me of a Bunnahabhain 12 a little bit. A little hotter, a little stronger, but yeah, right on. This is like a, I don't know, $65, $70 bottle USD. It's not overpriced, but yeah, there's just going to be a lot here to uncover, I can tell. It's got this kind of heavy overcoat of this just kind of creamy chocolate caramel thing going on. There's other stuff underneath. Orange, too. There's like an orange, you know, that like chocolate orange thing you get on a lot of single malts. That's coming through pretty strong here. Yeah. So I will give this a little bit of time for sure. I'll probably do a review of this in a couple of weeks maybe. It depends how much I get into it, but definitely going to try this with a little bit of water on it. I think taming down a little bit of that heat, that kind of alcohol pop on the end of it. See if it rounds it out a little bit. All in all, pretty good. Cool. So we'll sip on this for a little bit. Let me catch up and see what's going on with y'all. Daniel said, I haven't tried. I've heard good and bad about them. Oh, okay. Jimmy said, what's the ABV on the Fusion? Yeah, Don Holland's right, 50%. You may have said it before, but what is the name Fusion all about? Yeah. So, Daniel, what they've done here, the Fusion is the barley that they use. So they use both Indian and Scottish barley. So, you know, is it a marketing gimmick or is it like actually can you tell the difference? I can't tell quite yet, but again, neck pour. And there's some debate as to whether or not you can tell the difference between strains of barley anyways, but you know, we can get into that if we want. Basically, here's what they say. The whiskey is made using barley grown and malted in two regions spread far apart. The major part of the barley originates from the feet of the Great Himalayas. The rest, especially the rest, is peated barley sourced from Scotland. I do not get much peat on this, really at all. So I don't know. We'll see. But I can tell you right out the gate, this is a complex whiskey, tasty stuff, worth a flyer for sure, especially if you find this at like 60 or less US. I'd grab it. It's much better than their regular single malt. Again, we don't know how old it is. Yeah, it's starting to open up a bit. Ben said, you've had several Indian whiskeys before. No, I've actually had very few Indian whiskeys. I've had the regular Amrut, the single malt, which is an NAS, like, I don't know, 46%, something like that. And then this Fusion, that's about it. So I'm kind of just jumping in. So I'm learning about Indian whiskey with y'all because I really don't know that much about it. Donald said Wiki Fusion, that will tell you. Yeah, should probably just check that out. I didn't look up anything really online about this yet. So, you know what this reminds me of? Glen 12. If any of you have had Glen 12, it's kind of that like heavy, syrupy, sweet. It's like a dessert whiskey. It's a very signature kind of flavor to that. Really heavy on the palate, oily, just kind of these like dark fruit and orange and marmalade kind of thing, and then like vanilla caramel. But all like pretty measured, right? None of them are really loud popping out. It reminds me a lot of that, and also like Buna 12 a little bit. Just that like tiny bit of peat. Good stuff. Austin Gardner's in the house. Cheers, Eric. Cheers, everyone. What's up, Austin? Happy Tuesday, man. We're sipping some Amrut Fusion. I think some other folks are sipping Amrut. Some other folks got some other things going on tonight. It's hanging out. Tuesday, booze day, buddy. What's up with you? You drinking anything tonight? What's in the glass? Anyways, y'all, hope everybody's doing well. It's another week in the terror dome of coronavirus here in Philly. Things are starting to look up a little bit, but who really knows? it seems like we're making progress, and it's getting warm, man. Summer is in effect in Philadelphia. We've been hitting the 80-degree mark Fahrenheit for like the last couple days, jumping between 70 and 80. It's a warm one today, humid as hell. Seems like summer's crept up. It's about that time, though. Too bad half the things you want to do you can't do because the damn city shut down. But, you know, what can you do? We'll take it a day at a time, right? In the meantime, hope everybody's staying safe and doing well. Hope you all are getting a chance to at least get outside and enjoy the weather if the weather's nice by you yet. Oh, man, a little bit more water on this. Lemon lime, citrus. Man, but this has a nice core of like creamy kind of marzipan almond orange. Delicious. Yeah, 2 thumbs up for the Amrut Fusion. Again, I don't know about the whole terroir thing as it relates to the, can you tell what the Indian barley and the Scottish barley actually taste like? I don't know anything about that yet, but we'll see. I'll be curious if any of y'all got opinions about that. If you've had anything, you know, you see some of these companies, Bruichladdich does a lot of this, where they tell you where they get the barley from, and it's supposed to like give some different flavors. They do this a lot with their like standard Bruichladdich range, I think. You get the like Isla barley, and then one's from Rockside Farm, one's from some other farm. I think Springbank's, you know, got a local barley line. Glenmorangie just did like that 15-year-old with like barley only from some estate that they own. I don't know. Might just be marketing hype, but I can be easily persuaded one way or the other on that. Oh man, Austin Gardner, he's having fun tonight. Comparing Stag Junior Batch 12 and the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof A120. Man, that Elijah Craig A120 is, I have not had the Stag Junior 12. I am not the biggest Stag Junior fan, but I only had some of their earlier batches, so I'd love to try something a little bit more recent. But I just did a review, actually, the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof A120. Really, really good bottle. It's almost 69% ABV. It's crazy. Hope you're enjoying that. Tell us how it goes. I'd love to hear. I know they said a lot of good things about that Stag Junior Batch 12. That was supposed to be like one of the better batches that's come out yet of Stag Junior. So I'll be curious to hear about that, man. If you and where you ultimately fall on that. I'm going to guess the Elijah Craig, but I am biased. I do love me some easy BP. Jimmy said the Springbank local barley range is excellent, hard to find though. Yeah, and expensive. Man, I can't find those really anywhere. I found one. It was the 9-year. And it was like $140. I couldn't do that for a 9-year-old whiskey. But man, if somebody can persuade me that it's worth it, I'll pull the trigger someday. Daniel said you can definitely taste the difference between the Bruichladdich, Rockside Farms, and the Classic. Not sure if there's any other difference. Yeah. It's interesting, man. I mean, if you dig into the whole terroir thing and like read about it, some folks are like adamant that where a distillery is located and where they source the stuff from makes all the difference. The barley, like from this farm versus that farm or whatever. And some folks think it's just kind of marketing fluff and it's just some way to try to like seize on this whole, like everybody wants things organic, locally sourced, not fad, but trend when it comes to food and stuff. So I don't know. I've not unfortunately had enough local barley whiskeys. I've not had many of those Bruichladdich, so I really couldn't tell. But yeah, people got strong opinions about that. Don Holland said the peaty barley does come from Scotland. Yeah. That's what so they say that on the label that apparently it comes from Scotland. Now, I don't know where. I mean, this is not Isla peat. It doesn't strike me. If it is, it's such a small amount. Like I'm not getting much. You get a little bit of that effervescence, but it's hard to tell if that's peat. Definitely not smoky. This is really damn good though. Yeah, the only things I can really compare it to, like I said, it's like a little bit of a sharper, more aggressive Buna 12, or even more accurately, a spicy, more aggressive Glengarry 12. Those are the only things I can really compare this to as far as single malt scotches go. Good stuff, though, man. I guess I get why that guy, the Whiskey Bible dude, gave it, whatever, 97 points. I don't know if it was like his Whiskey of the Year or something back in the day. I'm not sure, but really good. Yeah, Daniel says it's all still young Bruichladdich. Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. Cool beans. Anyways, I'm going to finish this up in a few minutes, and we'll jump into that. We'll revisit our friend, the Glen Scotia. I'll tell you a little bit about what I've done with that in the last week. We'll see if it's made any difference. I've actually been real eager. I was thinking about that when I got up today. I'm like, oh, man, really want to get back into this Glen Scotia. So I waited until tonight, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, Amrut Fusion is good, man. I can tell you, I'll be recommending this. This is going to get a decent score from me for sure when I finally get to a review of it. Really, really tasty stuff. Ben Demon Hunter, what's up, Ben? Been seeing you on the Insta, man. Ben's been hitting me up with some funny stuff on Instagram. Ben says, does anybody know how many years the classic Lottie is? I don't, man. The classic, so I might be wrong about this. Somebody correct me. But if I'm not mistaken, the classic Lottie wasn't always an NAS. Like, I think it was, they had an age statement on it for a little while. And then they went back to making it making it an NAS probably like 4 or 5 years ago. I might be wrong about that, though. You know, Bruichladdich puts out so many damn bottles. I can't keep track of all that stuff. Maybe they just have a separate 10-year, but I swear there was like a 10-year Bruichladdich, just like core range bottle, and then they made it NAS. But maybe Don knows, or Daniel, or Dram Dude, somebody might know the answer to that. But my guess is that's probably, I don't know, a mix of maybe 7 to 10 years. Something like that. I like it. I mean, it's a good whiskey, and they bottle it at 50%, which is also solid. I mean, you say what you want. I definitely would. I think you should be able to expect a 40% whiskey would be good, but we all know, man, more alcohol is more flavor. You're getting more money. You're getting more for your money when you buy higher strength, for the most part, because you just add water to it, bring it down to your own preference, which is, I think, the way to go. But that's just me. Daniel said, what else do you have on the table there with you, Eric? Oh, yeah. So, yeah, the Amrut, there's our friend, the Glen Scotia. Oh, and I got 2 Highland Parks. So for folks who are going to be hanging out tonight, Telex and I are going to be talking Highland Park. He's going to be reviewing the Highland Park Valfather, which is like one of their newer releases. Apparently the peatiest, smokiest Highland Park ever. He's going to be checking that out. I got a bottle of Highland Park 12, one of the older bottles, so I'll be sipping on that. And then I'm going to open this. This is the Highland Park 16 Twisted Tattoo. I don't know. They got a bunch of, like, some tattoo artists made the artwork for this or something. I don't know. It's in Spanish Rioja cask. It's basically just, going to be a heavily sherried, oak cask. And first fill bourbon. So this is going to be a big one. First fill bourbon, 46.7%. Solid. This is about a $90 bottle. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, and then later tonight, so, obviously it's COVID world. So tonight, the Fisio Festival, it's the Freud Day. Obviously they're not doing much, but I'm going to crack a little Lefroy lore later tonight to, join in the Lefroy festivities. So, yeah, got a bunch of stuff on the table today, man. It's Tuesday Booze Day. What else are we going to do? Can't go anywhere. All right. Kilhoman is all about the barley, says Don Howland. Yeah. That's interesting. I wonder if Swami's still on here. Swami knows a lot about Kilhoman. I wonder if he can add even more to that, but I've heard that as well. But Daniel says the Bruichladdich is around 8 years. Oh, that's the what's it called? The classic Lottie. Yeah. Dram Dude says changes depending on the batch. You can go online and put in the code on the bottle and find out all the specifics. Are you talking about the Bruichladdich Classic? Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Austin Gardner, I bought a Glendronach Parliament 21-year-old last week. I'm looking forward to trying it too. I have the 12 and the 15, but thought the 12 was way better than the 15 from the neck pours. Oh, wow. Damn. Have you had the 9, or I'm sorry, the 18 Allardyce? I've never had the Parliament. I think the Allardyce is the only one that doesn't have PX. So my understanding, like out of the core range of Glendronach, the 12 original, 15 revival, and the Parliament 21 are all like Oloroso and PX, and the Allardyce is the only one that's just straight up Oloroso. Interesting though, I can imagine on the neck pour that 12 is really good, sweet. As you get down in those though, I'll be curious if you actually stick with the 12 over the 15. The 15 is a freaking magical bottle, really good stuff. I'm curious to hear how that goes for you, Austin. All right. Dram Dude says at Malt Muser, I was pretty happy with the Twisted Tattoo. Yeah, good. That's good to hear. You know, man, Highland Park is one of those distilleries. There's been just so much happening with them. So many damn bottles that they're putting out. I'm not always clear, like, which ones, like, it's just so much. So when I saw the 16-year-old age statement on that, first fill bourbon and those Spanish Rio casks, like, that's going to be a heavily flavored whiskey, I bet. I can just tell, man. First fill bourbon in general is just usually, you know, you're going to get hit with a lot of it. So I'm excited for that one, and it's 46.7%. Pretty hyped on that Highland Park, so I'm excited to get into it. But yeah, you know, there's just so many of those. Yeah, Ben Demon Hunter saying the same thing. Looking forward to the Highland Park Valfather chat. Lucas bought one, and we're waiting to open it for when he gets Corey Vrecken and Lore to go along with his Abuna for an NAS flight. Damn, that's a serious NAS flight right there. Oh man, you guys are lucky. I don't even know what you start with there. I mean, I figured you got to end with Corey Vrecken. I think that's going to be the most intense, spicy, peated one of the three. Although I don't know about this Valfather. Boy, what do you do? Abuna, Valfather, Lore, Corey Vrecken, maybe. That's going to be a hell of a lineup, man. Enjoy that. Santa Cruz's in the house. What's up, buddy? Happy Tuesday, Booze Day, man. You sipping anything tonight? You might still be working, if I'm not mistaken. You sometimes are kind of still working right around this time. But Don Holland said Bruichladdich and Kilchoman compete for barley. Oh, no kidding. Interesting, man. And Demon Hunter at Daniel, we're both very excited. First bottle and dram for all four. That's awesome. Santa Cruz and says, and they're competing for my wallet. Yeah. I love Kilchoman, man, and I do love some of Bruichladdich, but I can't keep up with most of the Bruichladdich. But yeah, again, man, like the whole Tewa thing, like those are two distilleries that kind of have examples of stuff where they try to like play up the local barley angle and how it gets the essence of the, you know, flavor of the location and stuff. So this Amrut Fusion, like I said, I can't quite tell that there's any peat in this yet, but really, really good so far. I'll be interested to try out this more, especially as it oxidizes a little bit. But this is a really solid dram. But yeah, the Tewa thing is, I don't know, man. I've heard both sides of it. I've just not had enough of it to really have an informed opinion on it, just to be real with you also. I'll keep it 100. All right. Don Holland, one more month. And with Corey Vrecken, no doubt Abuna first. Yeah, cool. Welsh Toro's in the house. What's up, Welsh Toro? Nice to see you, buddy. Be Tuesday, Booze Day. He says he's not working. Good deal. Probably not by you, right? It's got to be getting pretty late. Hope you're doing well, man. We're sipping a little Amrut Fusion. Just cracked it tonight. I'm about to revisit the Glen Scotia single cask from last week, which was pretty rough. Seldom have I had a bottle of whiskey that I've opened that I was actually like really, really almost disgusted by. And it was because it had this, yeah, I'll get into it in a few minutes, but we're going to revisit it. And why don't we just do it right now? Now that this Amrut Fusion is finished up. All right, y'all. So, as you recall last week, I cracked open this bottle. It's a Glen Scotia single cask. It's about 10 years old. It's hand-filled from the distillery, 56.3% ABV. As you can see, hopefully, this is the cloudiest whiskey I've ever seen in my life. And you can actually see, I mean, you guys can't see it on that. There's little like ribbons of, I don't know what it is, something hanging around on the bottom, kind of going through it periodically. So I've been really getting into Glen Scotia, crack this thing open. And it had this note, this overpowering note of like, all I can describe it as is like chewable vitamins mixed with like shoe polish. And it just overcoated everything. It is one of the most unique and honestly off-putting tastes I've ever had in a whiskey. It left a horrible aftertaste in my mouth. I'm really disappointed by it because underneath it, I can tell there's some really solid, robust Oloroso sherry cask whiskey. So I have not had a drink of this in a week. And what I did to try to see if we could push this thing in a better direction is basically I left this thing for 8 hours with the cork off overnight, woke up in the morning, put the cork back on. I've smelled it off the bottle. It still has that note, but it seems to have diminished a little bit. And the fruit notes are coming through more. But so we're gonna pour another glass of this and see what's happening. Because I'll be real with y'all, I was really excited about this. I mean, if you want to non-chill filtered, I don't think this thing is. I think this is the opposite of anything that could be described as filtered at all. It's crazy. So we're gonna put some of this in the glass. After a week, it spent some time completely open overnight to try to take some of that edge off, hoping it's just a neck pour. Glen Scotia, let's see what's happening. I did check the cask. I think somebody just mentioned that. I did check the cask. Yeah, Andrew. And the cask, the cork. The cork is fine. It's not broken. It's totally tight. Oh, man, I can still smell that, though. Funky. All right, y'all. Oh, man, I hope I don't go blind. So just to give you a sense, again, of how cloudy this whiskey is, look at this. I don't think I've ever seen, I mean, that's with no water. So Scotch mist is an understatement with this one. Let me catch up on the chat and then we'll dig into this. Welsh Toro said he really liked Amrut Fusion. Oh, yeah. I cracked it tonight. I'm really loving it so far. It's my second Amrut. Definitely a step above the other one I had, which was the regular single cask. Really, really enjoying it, man. And looking forward to, a little bit of oxygen, a little bit of time, sipping on this for a while. It's going to be good. Santa Cruz and just got a couple bottles. Oh, wow. Huge haul. A couple bottles from KL Wines. Old Particulars 21 Glenbergie and the 18 Ben Nevis. Lechag 14 cast strength. My God. Yo, Santa Cruz, when are you inviting us over? Those are amazing. I wouldn't even know where to start. Man, that Lechag 14 cast strength has got to be incredible. Here come the comments on the Glen Scotia. Daniel says the milk's gone bad. Yeah, man. I don't know. Well, Toro, that's a lot of gunk. Gunk is an understatement, my friend. I'm not sure what to make of this. We'll see, because I'm going to jump back in it again. Hey, whiskey friends in the house. What's up, Alan? Just in time. I'm going back to the Glen Scotia. We're going to see what's up. I left it open for probably a little bit over 8 hours with the cork off. I left the bottle open. We'll see if it's tamed this ridiculous, funky smell. So far, the nose seems like it's better. It's more in balance. It's still there. That note I was telling you all about is still there, but it seems to have chilled out a little bit. Yeah. Nail on the head, man. Yeah, right. It's like what is that really famous wheat beer? It's like the German one, Hacker Shore. Looks like a freaking glass of Hacker Shore. Should throw an orange in this. Yeah, this is gonna be funny, man. I feel like that's what's supposed to be distilled. What is this? Yeah, man, I don't know. We're going to find out in a second here. All right, y'all. Let's just dive in. Here we go. Again, one more look. This is the label. It's hand-filled from the distillery, single cask, pretty much almost 10 years, the cloudiest whiskey on earth. All right. Let's see what's happening. All right, so that weird funky note's still there, but it has definitely taken a step back. So I think that oxidization might have helped a little bit. Really funky. I mean, Campbelltown whiskeys, you know, have the reputation of having a little bit of that Dunnage warehouse funk. This is funky times 10. But the things beneath it are starting to come out. Dark fruit notes, vanilla, heavy vanilla caramel. This is interesting. I'm hoping this turned the corner. All right, y'all. Like I said, I hope I don't go blind. Let's give it a taste. Cheers. It worked. It worked. This is much better. It's still there. I don't know if this is like a note that I've just never had before. I don't know if this is like the peat smoke or just the warehouse flavor. It's still there, but it's way more in balance. Now it's just like heavy, thick, spicy, really intense. Classic bourbon notes, sherry. That freaking funky flavor is only coming through on the end now. It's still there. It's on the tip of my tongue. Again, it's this chalky, again, like chewable vitamin flavor. But it's balanced more. I think we might have saved this whiskey. I think we might be out of the woods. I wonder if I let this sit out for even longer, what it'll do, to be honest with you. But I think I can safely say that this is turned for the better, which is really, really good. Because I paid, just to be honest with y'all, I went out on a limb for this one. This was like over $100, which is, it's an expensive whiskey, you know? It's expensive, man. It's a lot of money to spend on something. And I've been hyped on Glen Scotia so much. I just was so excited when I got the opportunity to find this. There's only like a couple hundred bottles of it that they do each year. And I was so bummed when I opened this and was like, oh my God. I mean, I'd be curious if any of y'all have had any issues with a bottle of whiskey that you've opened and it failed you so miserably. It's few and far between for me. But I can say that this is one of the most disappointing whiskey I'd ever opened, and I think I might have turned the corner on it a little bit. I'm going to put a little water on it. But I think we might be in business. Who wants a sample? Once the post office is open, I might be sending this to a few folks to see what they got to say about it. All right, let me catch up on the chat. Daniel says, did they fill it with their hands? Yeah, literally. Looks like somebody who didn't wash their hands. That's pretty much what it should look like. Yeah, man, right? It's from a sherry butt looking color. Your bottle has recovered from COVID. Yeah, man, it came down with the COVID-19, but caught the bug. We might be all right. Hey, Affordable Whiskey Review is in the house. Cheers from Central Florida. Cheers to you, friend. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for swinging by for a little Tuesday happy hour. What you sipping on tonight? I think we caught up, we connected over, it was on YouTube maybe. Good to see you, man. Yeah, Alan's got the right idea. I don't want to tempt the fates. I think I might let this sit out, but I will tell you, the neck pour on this whiskey was one of the most off-putting neck pours I've ever had. And I do think leaving the bottle open with the cork off for overnight has done some magic to this. I think it's out of the woods. We're heading in the right direction. It's not quite, it's still got that there. And I think it might just be part of the profile. And I'm just not, it's just so different that I'm not actually accustomed to it. But it is a bizarre flavor. But everything else in this seems to be coming into balance. I put a little bit of water on it. Like I said, it's 56%. Seems to maybe have knocked it out even further. Way in the back, there's a nice kind of toffee caramel thing going on. Yeah, I think we're in business, y'all. Very drying, though. Holy cow. Andrew Page says, I think you should email Glen Scotia a photograph of it and have him explain the cloudiness. So funny you asked that. I did. I emailed the company that I bought it from. They sent me a long email about it, and readily acknowledged that they don't quite explain in totality like the expectation of a single cask whiskey like this. And basically they were like, you should, like, this is normal. Like, we can guarantee that the bottle hasn't been tampered with. I'm still a little suspect of that, but it didn't look like, I mean, obviously it didn't look tampered with. It didn't look like the cork was leaky. It's a nice tight cork. They were basically like, yeah, like, this is just kind of the style. We know it can, you're not the first person. I think they said something about, like, you're not the first person who's brought this up. So I didn't feel totally crazy, but yeah, this is just kind of the style. So if I go blind tomorrow, we'll know that they were full of shit. But we'll see what's up. Some talk about Ben Romick. Affordable Whiskey says, what is the worst and best whiskey you have ever had? That's a great question. If anybody wants to answer that in the chat for yourselves, you should totally do it. I'd be curious to hear everybody's opinion. Best whiskey I've ever had, Brook Lottie Black Art 4.1. Worst whiskey? I mean, are we talking like bottom shelf, just shit? Old Thompson is the worst, which was a more local thing in Milwaukee where I grew up. But as far as like most disappointing whiskey that I think was supposed to be good, Aberlour 16. Yeah, that one didn't do anything for me. There's probably a few others I can think of, but so I don't know if it's definitely not the worst whiskey I've ever had, but it's definitely one of the more disappointing. Welsh Toro, Glen 18 is terrific. Yeah, so the 15 was my whiskey of the year last year for under $100 because I really, really love that. I just got a bottle of the 18 not too long ago. I'm going to be opening it up really soon because I'm excited to get into it. I also have the Victoriana and the double cask. So as you can see, I've been like all about Glen Scotia, hence taking the leap of faith on this single cask. But yeah, I'd be curious, like if other folks have had Glen Scotias at all and where they fall on them, if there's any that they like in particular. I was really impressed with the 15. I know the 18 is like has a sherry finish, if I'm not mistaken. Really excited to get into that one. He says, sure, if you feel safe, ship it to Canada. Yeah, we'll figure that out, Ben. I might have to get you some of that. Oh, nice. Sipping some Lafroig 10. Good deal. So it was, the Isla Whiskey Festival fee seal. Today is Lafroig Day. Unfortunately, there's no actual festival going on because of coronavirus, but I'll be getting into a little lore later tonight to at least raise a glass. Lafroig, one of my favorite distilleries, so I'll be checking that out. Back to work tomorrow after 10 weeks off. Man, cheers. I'll have a sample of that. Yeah, I got you, Alan. We'll definitely get you a sample of this Glen Scotia. Cheers. Take good care, man. Mark Stengel says, Old Crow. Yeah, Old Crows. That's rough stuff. Yeah, for sure. Best is Compass Box Tobias and the Angel. Worst, Cutty Sark the first time I tried it. If you want to try a good Cutty Sark, man, check out Cutty Sark Prohibition Edition. That one, it's like 50%, not that much more expensive than the regular Cutty Sark. It just blows it out of the water. One of those great kind of value drams at like $30 or less. Check it out. Mark Stengel says right out to you. Welch Toro's coming in hot. Jim Beam Devil's Cut is ghastly. I have not had the Devil's Cut, but I have heard that it is just awful. It's like super oaky, right? Like way oakier than a whiskey that's that young should be, which makes you just think like it's, artificial or something. J&B Rare is awful, says Mark. Yeah, J&B, yeah. I can't say much about that. Best, Bunnahabhain 27. Yeah, okay, that's serious business right there. I haven't had Dewar's White Label yet, so Johnny Walker Red. Yeah, Johnny Walker Red is trash. That's a mixer. Especially because there's just so much better Johnny Walker. 15, 18. Even the blue. Yeah, the Johnny Walker Red is... There's just way better whiskey at the same price point of like cheap blended Scotch than that Johnny Walker Red, I think. One of them that I think of is Chivas 12, Famous Grouse. Famous Grouse just blows the Johnny Walker Red out of the water, same price. Andrew Page, Highland Park 30 or Dark Cove. Worst Douglas Lang full and smoky blend. Ooh, interesting. I'm not sure I've had that. Yeah, I've heard good things about the Teachers too. I've not unfortunately had any of it yet, but I've heard good stuff about it. Alan says the White Walker. Yeah. The White Walker. I did have some of the White Walker. The thing that threw me off about White Walker is they tell you to chill it. They literally are like on the bottle. They tell you freeze the bottle because it changes colors. You know it's going to be bad. That would be fun to do a comparison, like the worst Johnny Walker blend. Use the White Walker versus the red. I almost think the red might be better. You might be right about that. A lot of love coming in for the Dark Cove. Also, Glenn going 25. Oh, yeah. Okay. Smoky Grouse, Jameson Cask Stout might qualify. Smoky Grouse, really? I've never had the Smoky Grouse. I've had the Naked Grouse and the Famous Grouse, both of which I thought were really, really good. Mark Stengel says Teacher's Highland Cream. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Cool, y'all. Well, we're caught up. Anyway, so if you're new to the chat, welcome. We do this Tuesday Happy Hour every Tuesday on the channel here at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on the eastern seaboard of the U.S. We basically what I do is a little bit after 9 o'clock, I do a weekly whiskey show with Telex the Whiskey Tech. Each week we're kind of he does a review of something and then we kind of talk about the distillery. So tonight we'll be heading over there shortly after 9. As always, I'll pop the link in the chat once the show starts, and so everybody can join if you guys want to keep the whiskey conversation going. Tonight we're going to be talking Highland Park. I'm going to sip on some Highland Park 12, and then I also have the Highland Park 16 Twisted Tattoo, 46.7% ABV. First fill bourbon and Spanish Rioja cask. Looking forward to this. I don't know if all this marketing gimmicky stuff did throw me off a bit, but that 16-year-old age statement's got me going. I think this is going to be a really heavy whiskey. Looking forward to sipping on some of this tonight. I have a couple other Highland Parks, which one of them is a single cask 12-year, which I'll probably get into later in the year. And, I guess I can share with y'all now. I'm getting really close to my 100th whiskey review video, which is really exciting. I've been at this for, almost 2 years now. It's been a lot of fun. And what I'm going to do for my 100th review, which should come in the next couple of weeks, is going to be the brand new Highland Park 21. This is the first release of it, 46% ABV. They've changed this a little bit since the last one. It does come in this ostentatious box. But I'm going to crack this and do an uncorking video of this for my 100th review. So this will be exciting. I'm really eager to get into this. Highland Park 12 is one of my favorite whiskeys just because it's great everyday dram. I like the 18 enough. Excited to get into this 21-year-old. So this is going to be the whiskey for my 100th review. I think that should be in the next month. So I've been putting reviews up every Friday, and excited to share this one with y'all because I think it's starting to show itself around the States. This one I had to get internationally because I couldn't actually find it anywhere here in the States. But I'm really excited. I think they're already out of the second batch. So this is apparently the first batch. So we're going to check it out, and it should be a lot of fun. It'll be a cool way to celebrate. I might try to bring some guests in. Maybe I'll do it live. I don't know. We'll figure it out, you know. It's all about the fun. I really enjoy doing this and chatting with everybody. So, you know, I'll try and make it as cool as possible. Compass Box said to freeze hedonism. Are you serious? Yeah, you got to tell me about that. If you have a link for that, I'd love to see it. I've never heard that. I have a great hedonism story I can tell you sometime. Whiskey Friend says, don't forget to like. See ya. Oh, cheers, man. Yeah, feel free to like the video if you guys are enjoying the happy hour. We've been getting good, you know. We usually have like 15 to 20 folks in, so this has been a lot of fun, man. I've been doing this for about 2 months now, getting close to it, about as long as Telex and I have been doing our weekly Tuesday whiskey show. So I think this is cool. Tuesday is the roughest work day of the week, in my opinion, and so it's a perfect night to have a couple drams and talk whiskey with good friends. Grouse usually rates low, but whiskey in a box must be bad. There's whiskey in a box? Jesus, I got to hear about that. If that exists, I got to know. Today, oh, wow. Mark Stengel, today I bought crystal double old-fashioned glasses. Nice. Winning, man. That's so cool. Yeah. Definitely, it's always great when you get those first kind of quality glasses. I honestly, I lean too much on these, mostly because I just have them around a lot. Usually when I'm just like sipping a whiskey at home, I'll use something like you mentioned, like an old-fashioned glass. I really only use these for tastings, but as of late, they're just kind of sitting around, and it's like, obviously we cracked a new whiskey tonight. I generally don't like use these as my sippers, but you know, to each his own, it doesn't really matter. But the Glencairn is tried and true. Yeah, nice to have some old-fashioned glasses on hand as well. So enjoy those, man. It's a good way to sip your scotch. Whiskey Friend says it's another sample. Bourbon Bounty's in the house. Cheers. Hey, what's up, man? Happy Tuesday. How are you? Here's a glass to you guys. Cheers. Hope you're doing well. Santa Cruz says, we'll catch you over at Telex. Yeah, should be a fun chat tonight. Oh, man. Cheers, Alan. You go live for it? Oh, that'd be fantastic, man. Yeah, let's coordinate over email, man. I'd love to have you on. We can chat some whiskey. I don't know if you have the Highland Park 21, but if you do, you can sip along with us. If not, I'm sure you have more than enough delicious whiskey that you can sip. That'll be fun. Yeah, let's do it for sure. I'll definitely email you. That'll be a lot of fun. Right on, man. Good. You're doing well, Bourbon Bounty. Good to hear. Good to hear. Speaking of bourbon, who was it earlier? Was it Jimmy? Somebody was doing a head-to-head. Oh, no, it was Austin Gardner. Austin, if you're still on, I'd love to hear what's going on with the Stag Junior 14 or Stag Junior Batch 12 versus the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof A120, the new one. Love to hear how that's went for you. I think he was a little earlier in the show mentioned in the chat that he was tasting on that. So I definitely want to hear about that. Oh God, Affordable Whiskey says black box whiskey, 1.75 liter for $24. Damn. I mean, that's just mixers at that point. I don't know. I've never even heard of black box. That's got to be an interesting one. Anyways, so I'm glad this Glen Scotia's got out of the woods. I'm gonna do something to set the palate a little bit for these Highland Parks. We're about to hit that 9 o'clock hour, so I'll let you guys know relatively soon. Our good friend Telex will be posting his link for the live. I'll make sure to share it in the chat so we can all kind of head over there and continue the conversation on Highland Park. Should be a lot of fun. I don't know if any of y'all got any Highland Park, but if you do, bring it with. You can sip some with us. He's going to be doing a review of the, what's it called? The Valfather, which is apparently the smokiest Highland Park in the history of Highland Park, forever, everywhere. So I don't know. I'll be curious to hear what he thinks about that. The thing I like the most about Highland Park is kind of that sweet, I think it's called heather. It's sweet, like heather peat that they have. So it's not that kind of intense, road tar, medicinal peat smoke you get off a lot of Islay whiskeys. It's kind of like a sweeter, peaty smoke that you get. I really enjoy that on the 12. I think the 12 is one of the best all-around whiskeys you can get your hands on. It's still relatively affordable at around, I don't know, $40. Age statement still on it, 43%. I have one of the older bottles here, which is what I'm going to start with on the show tonight. I did recently do a comparison between this and the new Viking Honor, which is what they're calling the Highland Park 12. Now, they got the whole Viking thing going on. To be honest with you, I really kind of like the old labeling better. The bottle even look better. It doesn't have all that as much of that embossed like Viking stuff all over it. It just looks classier. So I'm going to probably sip on this next, get primed up for some Highland Park, and then I'll open that Twisted Tattoo. So yeah, definitely be curious if any of you guys have, what are your favorite Highland Parks? If you guys have any Highland Park, feel free to crack some open to sip with us tonight. I'm going to clean this glass up. Get a little Highland Park 12 going. I don't know how this is going to land after drinking that heavy 56% Glen Scotia, but we'll see. Speaking of Glencairns, I'm not sure I got another one sitting around here. I'm going to have to look. Yeah, we'll just use the old one. It's Highland Park 12. Who cares, right? It's probably a dirty glass for Highland Park 12. Let's do it. Tuesday, y'all. Need a little extra in your glass on a Tuesday, man. That's for real. I don't know about any of you, but I had a long freaking day today. So a healthy pour. Why not? What's up in the chat? Mark's talking about 6 p.m. here in Las Vegas. Oh, Las Vegas, Nevada. Cheers, man. Raise a glass to you out there in the desert, buddy. Ben Demon Hunters at the grocery store. See you on Telex. Yeah, we'll check you over there, man. Mark Stengel says, I can't handle that heavy peat flavor. There's so many brands and styles. Yeah, the heavily peat thing is an acquired taste. I mean, I would say that oftentimes if you start with Lefroy 10 or Ardbeg 10, you're bound to just be kind of turned off by it because it's so intense. But you should definitely look at like, things with less peat smoke. I mean, I would recommend if you want to just try something with a little smoke, Highland Park 12 is a good example. Oban 14. Some folks in the chat, y'all can probably share a little bit, like those kind of intro peat whiskeys. Talisker 10 to some degree might be okay. I would just build up to, most folks don't like let's be real. Most folks, the heavy peat smoky whiskey just doesn't land well with them. So they're not necessarily things you're going to maybe ever acquire a taste to. But if you try some things with a little bit of smoke in it, sometimes you can kind of build yourself up to it, and maybe it'll end up ultimately being something you do enjoy eventually. So, yeah, off the top of my head, I'd recommend trying things like, Oban 14's got a little bit of peat smoke. Highland Park 12, a little bit of peat smoke. I'm sure some folks can drop some stuff in the chat, but to some degree, like Lechag 10. What other ones would probably be decent? A good one, if you really wanted to make an investment, is get the the Lagavulin Distillers Edition. So while it is basically the Lagavulin 16, which is a pretty smoky whiskey, it actually has a PX sherry finish, which basically means you're going to get a lot more sweet wine, kind of wine notes in it, which will, cover up a little bit of that. That might be a decent one to start with too. Talisker Darkstorm is good, says Affordable Whiskey Review. Yeah, totally. Oh, wow. Mark Stengel says it's hot here, 102 today. Damn, it's that desert living. It's a dry heat, right? It wasn't a dry heat here today in Philly, man. We were 82, but I'm telling you, it's like so humid. Jimmy T says some Bunas are great intros to peat. Yeah. The Buna 12 is really, really low on the peated scale, but you definitely get a little bit of in there. Some Bunahaven 12, which is also affordable, might not be a bad place to start. Affordable Whiskey says, let's just see here. Yeah, Talisker Darkstorm, the 10-year-old. So the Talisker Darkstorm is a travel exclusive. So unless you're going through an international airport, you might not be able to find that in the States. But yeah, Jimmy T says some intros to Boonahaven. Look at the 12. There's one other Boona. I mean, even the 18, which is amazing, but that has even less peat smoke in it. Affordable peat is Airstone Landcast. Some makers of Balvenie and Glenfiddich. Ooh, I've never heard of that one. Yeah, maybe check that out. Kalila 12 too. Yeah, so Kalila was one of the ones I was thinking of too, Andrew. What you'll get with Kalila is, I mean, it's definitely got some smoke, but it's also got a lot more like sweet citrus kind of notes. Those are worth trying. Yeah, Boona says Dram Dude. Mark says any made without peat. Are you talking about like Boonahavens, or are you just talking about like good single malts that are not peated? Because there's a lot of those too, for sure. I know that you recently you had a Chivas 18, like it was a couple weeks ago. You were on here. It was your birthday. Chivas 18 is a good starter blend, but yeah, I'm sure some folks here can make recommendations. It says any. Oh yeah. So if you like fruity notes, kind of like the fruit sherry wine, Glendronach 12, Glenfarclas 12. Avoid Macallan, it's overpriced. Look at, I mean, even like a Glenlivet or a Glenfiddich 12 are also solid, just kind of starters to get your bearings with single malt. If you're looking for a little bit more adventure, check out Old Pulteney. It's a much more kind of barley. It's got some saltiness to it. Really, really good. Also really affordable. Old Pulteney 12, really good stuff. Some other just good starters. I think there's a lot. I mean, that's a decent place. I mean, if you're interested in something even more like on the less spicy side, look at the lowland whiskeys like Auchentoshan 12, maybe Glenkinchie 12, Dalwhinnie 15 is another one, which is just kind of more sweet, slightly spicy, no peat. Those are all really good ones to try. If you're trying to avoid peat, just avoid anything off Islet. Don't buy Lagavulin, Lafroig. Don't buy Ardbeg, Kilchoman. Don't mess with Kalila. Those are all going to be, for the most part, heavily smoky. But I would say, don't avoid Highland Park 12 just because it has a little peat in it. I'm telling you, this is it is not smoky. It's got a little bit, but it's a well-rounded whiskey. It's sherry influence. You still get bourbon notes. It's a reasonable price. Highland Park 12 is just something you got to try. They have a really signature profile that I really enjoy, and I think a lot of folks do too. So don't be too timid with that one just because it has a little bit of peat. I think you probably will like it, and it's a good price. Cool, y'all. So it is whiskey chat time with Telex. We're about ready to start the show. I'm going to drop the link here. We're going to be heading on over to this link in just a few minutes. Like I said, we're going to be talking Highland Park tonight. So cool to hang out. Oh, Jack, the Pickle Town's in the house. Nice to see you, Jack. Thanks for swinging by. It's been another fun happy hour this week. Looking forward to, for those of you who can join, catch you over on Telex the Whiskey Text channel. The link is in the chat. We are going to be talking Highland Park. I'm going to crack open the Highland Park 16 Twisted Tattoo. Telex is going to be telling us about the new Valfather. And I'm going to be finishing up this Highland Park 12 before we get there. So feel free to click the link. Join us on the show. If you've yet to sub on my channel, you won't miss any of my reviews, which come out every Friday. Happy hour every Tuesday. Another fun week chatting, y'all. Sláinte. I'll catch you in a few minutes over on Telex's channel. Cheers.